All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Psycho's Platters, always powered by coffee each and every time. Slowly getting better, but I figured I missed you guys very much. Let's do the next episode of that future award-winning series, Jukebox from Hell. That's right. We are up to on our scorecards, episode 49. That's right, episode 49, which would be the June 1990 album from Crosby, Stills, and Nash called Live It Up. Take a look at this nonsense right here. Just take a look at it. There's your front. There's your back. Oh boy. So we went off, and of course I did research like I always do. CSN website and Wiki and in All Music and a few other bit of fun. But let's talk about this a minute, shall we? So this, like I said, came out in June of 1990. It was their sixth album, period, studio-wise, okay. Only made to number 57 on the Billboard 200. 57. And only sold 300,000 copies. That barely squeaked into the silver designation, all right? And I was just like, wow, you're talking about Crosby, Stills, Nash, the same people that started in the late 60s, by 1990, not really doing so good. Really not. Before this particular album, though, they did cut in November 1988 a Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young LP called American Dream. That made it to number 16 on the Billboard 200, and in respective different charts, you had 4 top 40 singles. Yeah. So what happened between 88 and 90? Oh boy. So this album here, the beginning sessions for this thing started in February 1986 and carried through to February 1990. So on and off for 4 years. There was lots of different things going on between all three of the members of the band. When the fall of the Berlin Wall happened in late 89, they were there to help celebrate that too. So just a lot of things in and out of their own separate and collective universes. That's right. So you got here. So with the Live It Up, as far as for songs are concerned, you happen to have a co-write on one song by J.D. Souther, which is actually an old track, and I'll explain that shortly. And then also Kevin Cronin from REO Speedwagon co-writes with Stephen Stills on another track. All the rest are written separately with CSN, CSN and Craig Durge and a few other people, Joe Vitale, things like that. Also on this particular album, other than Joe Vitale, like I said, along with your CSN, Bruce Hornsby's on a track, Roger McGuinn from the Byrds on a track, Peter Frampton is on a track, J.D. Souther is on a track, and lastly, Branford Marsalis is on 2 tracks on this thing. Before we go into a brief song-by-song synopsis on this thing, my God, if I was the art department in 1990, come on, what the hell nonsense is this? Seriously, hot dogs on top of what looks like telephone poles. What the fuck? I'm sorry, seriously. Oh geez, I've seen some horrible album covers in my day. This here, it's like, what the hell? It does not make any sense. You know the explanation? Stick it in the comments. I'm curious. Also, of course, on a record collecting standpoint here, let me show you here. We do happen to have they did pony up. That's a nice picture. I'll give them that. That's a nice picture, isn't it? Of them from back in 90. And then, of course, your lyrics. I know you can't see that very well, but that is what you'd be looking at. And, of course, your typical standard looking like that for 1990. This would be the last Crosby, Stills, Nash original run on vinyl, okay? What I mean by that is new studio album, because in the next year, of course, they would do the Carry On in '91, which would be excerpts from the Crosby, Stills, Nash box set, which I've seen that on vinyl. But that thing, the only 2 times I saw it, went for semi-big money. I don't know. Whatever. All right. So track 1, Live It Up. I remember this actually being played on the radio briefly at MTV, actually showed a video. Sorry, not a big fan of that song, okay? There was better choices for a single on that album. That's all there is to it, okay? Track 2, If Anybody Had a Heart. Now, that was the one that was co-written by J.D. Souther. I do like this. Nash, sings this one. John Waite actually did a version for a movie soundtrack in 1986. Quite interesting as well. So I didn't realize that there was a history with that tune. Things you know. But that one's a beautiful number. Track 3, Tomboy. Okay, so listen. I noticed something. Remember, I'm going back to Jukebox from Hell, episode 1. Summer in Paradise, Beach Boys. Okay, why am I bringing this up to you? Because the production sucked on that Beach Boys album. And for part of this album, the production sucked also. If they would have toned back on some of it, I think it would have been a little more listenable experience. Tomboy was actually one of those. Now, I wrote in here, other than God, this production, but why do I see this being a Beach Boys song instead? Because of the feel. I could, and that's what immediately came to mind, is that I could see Tomboy sung by the Beach Boys on Summer in Paradise. Now, you tell me. I mean, I'm still partially sick. So is it the illness? Is it the bad coffee? I have no clue. But I'm telling you, that production, for some of this album anyway, not all of it. Track 4, Haven't We Lost Enough? It's a nice, you know what? I don't know if it's just because I've always had a soft spot for Stephen Stills, but this is another nice Stills number here. We close out side 1 with Yours and Mine. It's Crosby's contribution on this one. It's so-so, but it really is nice to hear those CSN harmonies on this piece, okay? We flip over the record to side 2. Got to Keep Open. Another Stills song. In my prediction, in my opinion, this should have been a single. That's all there is to it. Listen to it for yourself. I think personally, it would have at least charted, okay? Because nothing charted on these 40. The Live It Up didn't chart. None of it did. Track 7, Straight Line. It's a decent Nash sung number. 8, House of Broken Dreams. Beautiful song from Graham. Seriously. Track 9, Arrows. Crosby turns this one in. Arrows turned inward are good for the soul, indeed. And then we close it off with track 10, the 5-minute long After the Dolphin, which it's actually an anti-war song. They could have sort of trimmed this down just a little bit. But it is an anti-war song. The Dolphin was actually a bar in the UK that ended up getting bombed in World War II. But I get it with the innocent lives lost, and stuff. So as far as it would be summer of 1994, late summer of 94, would be the next album called After the Storm. That one would actually chart less than this and sell less. It didn't even hit silver. That might be a future Jukebox from Hell also. But did you guys end up getting this album? Are you Crosby, Stills, Nash fans? Did you pick up this album when it first came out? I do remember seeing this puppy in clearance bins. I kid you not. Probably, I'd say within 6 months. So by like Christmas time, I'm not kidding. I probably saw this already discounted to like 1 or 2.99 already, and it's not a complete bad album. Okay, it's really not. Some people say this is for completists, and maybe they're right. But in reality, I think out of the 10 songs here, only 3 of them are really not really that great. The rest are nice. Okay. And I see at least 2 singles off of this thing. So if you can get past the shitty cover, yeah, if you can get past the shitty cover, give it a listen. I think you might be pleasantly surprised, at least for most of this album, not all of it. So next time, episode 50 of Jukebox from Hell. I have not decided yet if I'm going to go with the Rodney Allen Rippy piece or we're going to close it off with something else. But we will be, after that, we won't be doing these in series anymore. We will do these as one-offs. And so I'm always open for suggestions. Please leave and we will put them in the recommendation book. And if yours is picked, we'll give you a shout out. Till then, everybody, take care. God bless. Rock on. Always powered by coffee each and every time. That is the Mighty Psycho promise. And you know what? Take care of yourselves out there, please. Please. Psycho's Platters is a Love Peace production.